welcome to Today in Woburn. I'm your host, Samantha Stone. Today, we're going to be talking about something very serious. Every year, over 36,000 Americans are killed in acts of gun violence, and approximately 100,000 more are shot and injured, thousands of which are children. Unfortunately, Woburn has not been spared, including a heartbreaking death of one of our own police officers, John McGuire. Today, I'm very pleased to welcome Pastor Bill Hoch from the Woburn Methodist Church, and Diane Scinto, who's a local Moms Demand Action advocate, who also happens to be my mother. And we're here to talk about something we can do to help, which is an upcoming vigil to raise awareness around ending gun violence. Welcome, Pastor Bill and Diane.
Thank you.
We do have a serious topic today, and oftentimes I think people feel relatively helpless about what I can do. And so I'm really glad that today we're talking about something that we can all do to help raise awareness and address this terrible situation that we find ourselves in. Bill, you've been really kind and generous to offer the Methodist Church to host this vigil. Tell us a little bit about why the church is doing this and how it fits into the things that you do for our community overall.
So thank you. The church is really excited to host the vigil for a number of reasons. Just as a local church, a church that wants to be active in the community, this was a great opportunity for us to open our doors and welcome people in for a topic that's very important to us. The Woburn United Methodist Church is a church full of people who are very welcoming and open and full of love. And for them, the thoughts of gun violence and people being impacted by gun violence is obviously a terrible situation. So this type of vigil is the type of work we like to do to bring people together and to hopefully offer a chance of healing.
Yeah, thank you for doing that. One of the things that we're fortunate about is earlier this year, the mayor signed a proclamation to end gun violence. I was fortunate to be there during that signing, and it was a very moving group of people from across the community who were there. And tell us a little bit about what that proclamation meant and what was in it.
Okay. The We're Orange is a campaign, and it started when a young girl at 15, her name was Hadia Pendleton. She was killed outside of a park with her friends right after taking an exam. After her death, it was a feeling that her family and her friends, the way that they could cope with it, was by making some kind of activity. And so what they did, they started the We're Orange campaign. And on that, all over our nation, there is a way to recognize and remember all people of gun violence. And so the proclamation is one of the parts of the campaign. And the mayor very kindly opened up his door, signed the proclamation, and allowed all of us to be part of that day of remembrance, that there is gun violence and that Woburn is aware, and that we have the support of the mayor and also Representative Haggerty, who also came from the State House and recognized Woburn by another proclamation. And so we were honored that way.
I think it's really important that we as a community come together, as we do for many issues in Woburn, and not accept the status quo and not accept this. And these were wonderful ways of showing the community that we're there for each other. We're going to be having a vigil on December 8th. What happens at a vigil like this? Tell us a little bit about what folks who attend can expect. It's at 4 o'clock on the 8th, correct? From 4 to 5 p.m.
Correct.
Tell us what we can expect.
So the vigil is going to happen at the church, at the Woburn United Methodist Church at 523 Main Street. It's going to be up in the sanctuary, which is on the second floor. It's a handicap accessible building, so it's open to everybody in the community who's interested in coming. And what will happen at the vigil is people will be welcomed. We'll all come in. There'll be some music, and there'll be a couple different parts to the service. But we believe we're going to have a speaker who has been personally impacted by gun violence, a survivor. So someone's going to talk about their experience. We'll have some music. We've got a local musician is going to be playing, and The mayor's going to come and welcome everybody. And then there'll be a time to just sort of reflect and think about how gun violence impacts the community. And then sort of the center and the emotional heart of it is going to be really a time of silence, to light candles and to remember and to honor the people who have been impacted by gun violence.
Yeah. Thank you. It sounds like a really lovely way to honor the situation. Is this a political event? I've had some people ask me questions around that. Is this it sounds like it's open to anybody in the community, not just people who are parishioners at the church. Just tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, it's absolutely open to everybody in the community. We're not doing this as a church event. We're doing it as a community event. The question whether it's a political event, I don't think of it as a political event. We're not trying to push any kind of political position or political candidates, but we do want to help people think about the issue of gun violence. There will be some discussion of ways we can have more sensible gun laws in this country. But people are going to come out of it, with their beliefs, hopefully educated a little bit. We'll get some information on ways they could get more involved if they wanted to. But really the center of it is remembrance and healing, and the idea of the vigil and the candles and the music is to give people a place that is safe and comfortable and reflective for them to deal with and think about this topic.
At a time when we are going through the holidays and a time where we're finishing up Thanksgiving, moving into other holidays depending on what your practices and your cultural practices are, it's a wonderful opportunity to sit and think and be together as a community. And there are some other things that are happening that night. There is a wine tasting. The great part is for our community, you can taste wine, you can come to the vigil and then you can taste wine afterwards. So those things have some overlapping time. And I only mention that because I do know how busy this is a time of year for people, and that there are many obligations, professional obligations, trying to finish off our years, family obligations, and then lots of social opportunities that are happening in and around. And I hope to see many of you at the vigil, because this is a great way to remember those who can't be with us, or who have a loved one who can't be with us. So even if it hasn't touched us personally, I think for me, the draw coming to this event is because there will be people in the church and people who are there who have lost a loved one or been hurt or have had other experiences. And if we as a community can be there to give them a virtual hug and support them, then that makes me very proud of our community and where we come from. Is there anything else about the vigil that you'd like to share with our audience today?
Well, I do want to say that I'm a part of the Mom Demand Action, and they are co-sponsoring. But they are co-sponsoring with the support because we are trying to all be together. So I wanted to acknowledge that, but we are having most of the plans are through Pastor Bill and the community of volunteers from the church who are working actively to get this on the way. So we want to be able to show that everyone should come and that the stories are all the same. People are thinking about it. People are concerned. It is not one side or the other. There's never meant to be anything that would feel threatening. We do have a survivor who had lost her son in Virginia Tech. She wants to tell that story only because it's part of the feeling inside. And it is a feeling inside that it's all about.
The other thing is you're absolutely right, it's a busy time of the year. So I think it's important for people to know why we do this vigil this time of the year. So this vigil is part of a nationwide remembrance involving people who've suffered by gun violence. And it was designed to happen around the time of the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting. So that happened on December
14th, 2012.
Yeah, in 2012. And so nationwide in communities, I think they're hoping in every state to have activities in the beginning of December. These vigils are occurring. So we're working to be part of that larger movement in nationwide to be keeping this issue alive in people's minds.
I love that. For those who would like to sort of RSVP or just share the event with others in wherever forum, where could they go get more information to make sure they're spreading the word with the rest of the community about this?
Well, there is an RSVP that Moms Demand Action has put out, and if people want to go to momsdemandaction.org, Massachusetts, they will be an RSVP. We have been asking because we would kind of like to know, but a lot of it has been word of mouth and spreading around, and I don't want people to say, oh, I didn't do it. Please come. We are willing to have everyone, so we're very encouraging, even if you're not RSVP, but we would like it.
And we're trying to put information up on the church's Facebook page. There's a group, Woburn Welcomes. I think they'll have information about it. And the local newspaper, their online calendars will have information there as well.
Excellent. Well, I thank you both very much for coming in. And I thank you for providing an opportunity to feel a little bit empowered to do something, even if that something is just to sit with each other and remember and support those people who have been personally affected by gun violence. And it's a wonderful time of year to, to take that moment to meditate a little bit on this and to come together as a community. Thank you both very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. I want to thank both of you for joining us today, and for those of you who are tuning in, I hope to see many of you at the Vigil. I'll be coming back from a girls' weekend, and I tell you that if I can show up at 4 o'clock after being gone with my female friends, we're actually coming back a little bit early because this is very important to us and to our community, and we want to make sure that we're here to support everyone. So thank you for joining us, and I hope to see you there.